Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today in this quick video I'm going to check the Flywoo Firefly 1S NanoBaby V2 micro quadcopter. This 1S 1.6-inch drone is available in a couple of versions. You can get it with Voxnel HD0 or analog VTXs with multiple radio receiver options, and you can choose between two combinations of frame and motors. The FR version, which stands for Freestyle, features 1102, 23,500 kV motors and a True X frame, and the DC version, which stands for Dead Cat, features 1102, 19,800 kV motors and a Dead Cat frame. The DC version is less powerful than the Freestyle version, and it should provide you with a better flight time, and the Freestyle version is more powerful and will provide you with better performance. In terms of specs, both analog and digital versions feature the Flywoo Goko Versatile F411 1S all-in-one flight controller. While all variants are using the latest version of the Goko Versatile 1S flight controller, the analog one is using the flight controller that features a built-in 250 mW analog VTX and is using an external radio receiver, and the Express LRS variant of the digital version is using the one that features a built-in Express LRS radio receiver. In terms of packaging, with all versions you are getting propeller guards, spare propellers depending on the version that you've got. The FR version is bundled with 4-bladed propellers, and the DC version is bundled with tri-bladed propellers, although Flywoo just told me that they are going to include an extra set of tri-blade propellers with the Voxnel digital FR version, as apparently they are working better, and you're also getting some spare screws, a zip tie, and a total of 2 3D printed TPU parts for holding the battery. Keep in mind that the new drone is using an A30 battery connector, and batteries and a battery charger are not included. In terms of features and specs, as I've mentioned earlier, all the versions feature the Flywoo Robo 1102 motors. The DC variant is using the 19,800 kV options, and the FR version is using the 23,500 kV motors. In addition, the thickness of the carbon fiber unibody plate is 2 mm. The wheelbase of the frame is 75 mm. The FR version features a True X pattern, and the DC version, believe it or not, features a Dead Cat pattern. In terms of weight, without batteries, the Voxnel Express LRS Freestyle version weighs 35.8 grams. The analog Express LRS Dead Cat version weighs 28.5 grams. The weight of the 750 mAh 1S LHV battery is 16.8 grams, and the smaller 450 mAh 1S LHV battery weighs 12.7 grams. As for the new 6-way A30/PH2.0 battery charger, which again is not included, it comes with a quick charge power adapter and a USB Type-C cable. It will allow you to charge up to 6 batteries simultaneously. It supports both LiPo and LHV batteries and features A30 and PH2.0 battery connectors. You can use each battery connector on each channel at a time. Over here you can find the USB Type-C port, which is used for powering it up. The output power per channel is 0.5 amperes, and you can switch between LiPo and LHV modes by bridging these two soldering points next to each channel. So by default it is LHV, and if you'd like to set the end voltage to 4.2 volts, so you'll want to charge a regular battery, you will need to bridge the two soldering points together. Similarly, in case you would like to increase the output power per channel to 1 ampere, you will need to bridge these two soldering points. You should pay attention that while it is possible to charge batteries with an A30 battery connector using chargers that are using BT 2.0 plugs, it is not really recommended because the pins on the A30 battery connector, at least as far as I can tell, are smaller than the pins on the BT 2.0 connector. so you're going to damage the batteries in case you're going to do so. So what I recommend to do in case you're going to purchase one of these drones is to either get the new 830 battery charger, or in case you really want to save some money, you can either change the battery connector to one that you're already using, or charge the batteries using the PH 2.2 plugs, but then you will be able to plug the batteries on both directions, and you will need to pay attention to the polarity of the battery. As for setting up the NanoBaby V2, it's pretty straightforward, as most of the beta flight settings, which by the way are included down below, are pre-configured for you, and the quadcopter is pre-tuned. Recently, Flywoo adjusted the PID settings for all the available versions of the NanoBaby V2, so in case you purchased your drone recently, I recommend to make sure that you are using the latest version of the PID tune, as I've tested both quadcopters before and after the changes, and using the latest PID settings, both quadcopters fly much better. In addition, Flywoo decided to change the way that the external Express LRS antenna is mounted on the frame in order to improve the signal quality. I didn't experience any issues, so I just left it the way it is. And as I've mentioned earlier, Flywoo are now including a set of tri-bladed propellers with the digital versions of the NanoBaby V2. And in case you didn't get it, I recommend to get these propellers, as in my opinion, the drone flies better using them. So overall, after testing them out, I can tell you that both versions of the NanoBaby V2 are very enjoyable to fly. I really like the way that the analog version flies, but the main downside is that for some reason the VTX didn't perform very well, as you're about to see in the flight footage. The maximum range that you can expect using it is probably around 300, maybe 400 meters, which is not that much considering that it's using a 250 milliwatts VTX. But besides that, this drone is very agile and I really enjoyed flying it. As for the digital version, at first I didn't really like it, but after adjusting the PID settings and using the tri-blade propellers, I think that it is also a very nice option that you should consider getting in case you're using the Voxnell system. And on top of that, both drones feature a pretty good flight time. Of course, using the analog version, you can expect a longer flight time as it is lighter. And using the 750 mAh 1S LHV battery, which is going to make the drones heavier and not as agile using the smaller battery, you can expect about 5 to 6 minutes of flight time using the digital version, and on the analog version you can expect between a minute to a minute and a half extra, so about 7.5 minutes, which is pretty impressive for this small drone. Of course, considering that you are not going to push the throttle, and the smaller battery is going to provide you with between 2.5 to 3.5 minutes of flight time with the digital version, and with the analog version you can expect to get between 4.5 to 5 minutes of flight time. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I'm now going to wrap it up with some flight footage. I hope you will enjoy the rest of this video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below. I wish you all happy flying, and I'll see you soon on my next videos. Goodbye.
Got the moment to strike, I don't hesitate. I'm feeling like winning, they spitting the venom, but I got the power, I ain't afraid. I ain't afraid, I'm in your face. Forget tomorrow, man, I'm here today. Won't settle for good, man, I'm shooting for great. To remember my name when I'm in the grave. Yeah, all in, not pretending. Hall of Fame in with the veterans. I ain't playing weak, no, I'm playing for keeps. peeps can't stop me, I'm a legend. I run with the crew that's making the moves. Get out of the way, we coming through. We got this, never stopping, and we won't lose. No, we can't lose. Yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. We are the legends. We are the legends. Yeah. Are you ready? We are the legends. We are the legends. Yeah, energy, energy, energy. Walking on lightning, I better be running on 10. Go till it ends. You don't wanna be one of my enemies. I'm cooking. I turn up the heat and you're everyone looking. They turning to see all the work that I put in, but I'm moving too fast.